Hi, everyone. Good evening. It is Wednesday night, the 26th of April, my birthday, hence the birthday badge. Yes, it is indeed my birthday, and I thought it would be a nice idea to come on and do a little live stream, bit of a Q&A after today's video launch and say hello to everyone. I know that Aaron Smith 11 and that lot are doing lots of coverage about the Danny Masterson trial, so I won't cut into that. But I thought it is, the end of my evening here, my birthday, and I thought it would be a really nice idea to jump on here and say hello to everyone, engage with you guys, and talk about the video that I dropped today with Gabriel Toth, the former executive director at the Church of Scientology Vancouver. And I know I built up quite a bit of hype around that video. I spent a lot of time editing it and getting it ready to go. So I thought it'd be quite nice to do a little live stream Q&A about that. So welcome, everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining. I do have all of your comments and chats and stuff here. I can see them all. So jump in with your questions and I will try and answer them and go through them all. I'm just seeing all of your birthday wishes. Thank you, everybody. One love. Thank you. Webb, thank you. Victoria, thank you. There's too many to show everybody's, but thank you. Kitty, Mom, Ellie, May, Mary. Honestly, everybody, thank you so much for your happy birthday wishes. It does mean a lot. Another year has gone by and another year is yet to come. I am very quickly losing my hair. It is going at a rate of knots. I definitely think I will have no hair sooner than perhaps I would like that to happen. But all of the men in my family are bald or lost their hair on both my mum and my dad's side. So I have no hope in hell. I knew from the moment I learned about balding and male hormones and that I knew that I had no chance. So I'm accepting it. It's there. I've got hair. I'm going to have fun with it while I do, while I have it, while I can, and one day it'll be gone. At which point I'll probably grow my beard out. I'll have a beard, no hair, probably wear a hat. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yes, so just seeing some of your comments here. Lorna, is Alex just back from the oldie pub? Yes, I am indeed just back from the pub. I went for a meal and some drinks with my closest friends. From a poet, question, how much did you drink at the pub? I had 3 pints, which is not a great deal. I'm not drunk. I'm not over the top because it is Wednesday. It's a school night. I do have work things to do tomorrow, but I thought it'd be nice to get people together and have a little bit of a celebration. I will probably be doing something more fun over the weekend when we don't have work tomorrow. So yes, thank you, Clearwater Cheryl. Don't worry, soon you'll grow hair in other places. It happens. Oh, don't you? I understand. I'm at the point now where I go to the barbers and they say, "Do you want me to do you want us to trim your eyebrow hairs?" And I'm like, are they that bad? Okay, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's the thing that happens, but you get used to it. So I wanted to begin by just doing a bit of a recap on the video that I did today with Gabriel Toth. I was in the pub, obviously, because it was my birthday. So I was there in the live chat, but I wasn't following it particularly closely. But I know I built up quite a bit of hype for the video. And I spent a lot of time editing the trailer and the intro and launched part 1 today. Part 2 is coming very soon. So I thought now would be a good time to touch base with you guys because I didn't see all of the live chat. So now is your chance to chat to me because I missed it earlier and, talk it through. I think I am super excited to see Gabriel join the SPTV crew. That's the point. Where's my logo? Oh, there we go. SPTV. A bit of background. Gabriel messaged me probably about 6 weeks ago saying that She was inspired by hearing my story because she's Canadian, I'm English. However, I am one of the few people talking about the staff Scientology experience from a staff level, a staff member level from the Class 5 city level org. There's a lot of stuff out there about the Sea Org experience, what it's like in the US, and there's not much about the UK, about London, about what it's like working for Scientology and not in the Sea Org. And she said that she was inspired by my story and wanted to share her story. So I've been working with her. I know I've mentioned a lot about all of these exciting, cool background projects that I haven't been able to share publicly. And this is one of them. I've been working with Gabrielle behind the scenes for the last 4 or 5 weeks to put this together. I have helped her design graphics for her YouTube channel. I helped her get set up on YouTube, creating the required accounts and StreamYard and all that sort of stuff, getting a bit of a plan together. And it's been really exciting to be a part of that. And I feel very privileged and really humbled that she saw my stories and my videos and was inspired to speak out off the back of that. And I think, you know, Gabrielle was the executive director of the Church of Scientology of Vancouver. She was in Scientology for, I put 25 years in a video, but actually it was 26. I got that slightly wrong. And the fact that she now not only wanted to share her story with me, but create a channel herself and talk about her experiences was, you know, just amazing. That's why I do this. That's why I do what I do, is to share my stories and get others to share theirs and give them a platform. And she not only wanted to share her story, but wanted to do something with it and is now starting her channel. Escaping the Cultiverse A is the name of her channel. If you haven't already, please go and subscribe. She's great. And the video that you saw earlier today that was about an hour long, I actually spent 5 hours on a call with her. The whole interview from start to finish was about 4 hours and 30 or 40 minutes, something like that. And the initial plan was to edit it down into one video that was about 40 minutes or an hour as a whole recap and launch her channel as part of this video, and then perhaps release the rest of the interview separately. But as I was editing it, I thought, actually, no, I wanted to challenge myself because I do video editing. I am a marketing person, so I spend a lot of my time making really good content for companies and doing my thing. So there's no reason why I can't edit content. And seeing Kellycopter's quality of production quality and editing, you know, the time she puts into it. The reason I didn't launch my channel earlier was because I wanted to create really high quality Netflix style content, and I wanted to make a really good series and launch my channel as this really big high quality production value stuff. And I was putting off for ages because that takes time. And I thought, actually, for what I'm trying to do, it's better just to get started, put content out there and work on the quality later. And hearing Gabrielle's story for 5 hours really inspired me because I wanted to, hey, Pearl on the Go, how's it going? Go and check out Pearl on the Go's channel if you haven't already. He's great. Yeah, so hearing her story, it was so moving and emotional, and I really connected with it over the 5 hours we spoke. And I thought, look, if I'm helping her, Gabrielle, to launch her channel, I don't want to do a half-hearted attempt. I want to present it in a really impactful way. So I challenged myself, and I thought, I'm going to spend the time on this interview to edit it and put it together. And I condensed this 5-hour interview I did with her into a 1-hour part one. Part two is a lot shorter. It's about 35 or 40 minutes. That will be coming very soon. It is edited and ready to go. I will release it in due course. But I thought, I want to present her story in a way that is impactful and not just going to be another interview, especially if I'm helping launch her channel. So it inspired me. Seeing Kellycopter's videos also made me think that I can create stuff of that quality. I've just been lazy. And so I challenged myself. So that's why I did the trailer, the teaser, and that's why you have the quality video that you do have. I can do much better and will do. It is the start of a journey. I know how to make really high production value stuff, but that's all in the works. I spent 4.5 hours editing the first 1 minute and 30 seconds of that video. That trailer that I released took me about 4 hours to do, and the rest of the 1 hour interview is probably about 3.5 or 4 hours of the actual interview condensed down into an hour. And yeah, part 2 is coming. So I've put more effort into it. I'm spending more time editing. I think there's a place for live streams and interviews and all that sort of stuff. And I think I've made the decision in my head that if I'm going to do an interview with someone, I'm going to spend the time to make it a nice, well-produced video. And the more content someone has, the better, right? The B-roll stuff, the clips I took from the Scientology channel, like they all help and make it a really cool thing. But if someone has lots of pictures and videos and stuff from their time in Scientology, even better, that makes it easier. But I've been lazy. I've just thought, let's get the story out there, which is what I've done, and it's been a good impact. It's been good. But from now, I think my live streams and the short little videos I do probably won't change. But my long form interviews of people, I think I'm going to challenge myself to present them in a better, well produced way, because there's no reason why I can't. I've literally just been lazy. So L. Ron Hubbard, happy birthday, Alex. Now get back on post. No case on post. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And with my birthday having gone just now, 26th of April, maybe we should play a birthday game like they do in Scientology and see if we can get some growth on my channel. I have been overwhelmed with the support and growth that I've seen in my channel recently. I started speaking out on YouTube 10 weeks ago, and I now have 4,176 subscribers, which is insane. Which I never expected that at all. And so thank you for that, everybody. And L. Ron Hubbard once said that all he wants, the best birthday gift he could get, is growth and expansion of Scientology, which is why you have the birthday game. The birthday game in Scientology is all the orgs compete with each other to deliver more services, make more money, sell more books, and they compete with each other on this points-based system to try and grow Scientology. And there's a big event in March 13th, every year where they reveal the winners of the birthday game. And it does sound cheesy, but I kind of like the idea behind it, and I can get on board that. I mean, if anyone wants to challenge me for my birthday next year, we have a year, and I'd be really interested to see what growth we can get over the next year, and see where we're at for my next birthday. So enough of me rambling. Let's get into some of the comments. Pearl on the Go is awesome. Right. Also, just before we do that, actually, tomorrow is Thursday, Thursday 27th of April. Thursdays at 2 p.m. I'm doing a live stream with Doug Kramer from Dazed But Not Confused. We're doing this weekly thing. Come and check us out tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. UK time. We're going to be talking about the recovery process and how Scientology still affects us today. And the title is Scientology All Bad? Because I think there are some good bits, and there are bits that, without there being some sort of benefit, people wouldn't join. So we're going to be looking into that and looking at the effect Scientology has on us both now, however many years after leaving. So it's going to be a really interesting discussion. So come and check us out tomorrow. So now Q&A time. I'm seeing all of your comments here. Thank you so much, everybody. Annie May, it's Alex's birthday. A nice gift would be to like, share, and subscribe to his excellent channel. Thank you. I agree. I can't imagine for a better birthday present than for this to grow and to get more subscribers and viewers and comments and stuff. So appreciate that. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Please put your questions in the comments and I will answer as many as I can. Just Tiff, happy birthday, Alex. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is my birthday. Yay. Although actually technically it's not my birthday anymore here in the UK because it's now after midnight. But, I'm still doing it. Still running on that time zone. So let's go through some of these. Andrew Humphrey asks, Are there any laws in the UK that could have protected the Jane Does? That is a really interesting question. And certainly there are laws that protect them in certain ways. I mean, I would ask you to certain maybe sort of clarify what you mean by that. Protect them at the time of what was going on, or protect them now in court. Clarify that for me. But in the meantime, I'll talk a little bit about what it's like here in the UK. In the UK, they passed a law fairly recently about coercive control, and it is now against the law to coercively control somebody, and it is very, very clearly defined in the law what coercive control looks like. I'm going to get coercive control law UK. I'm going to actually get this up because it's a really interesting topic. So this is a new law that they introduced. The government's coercive or controlling behavior is now an offence in and of itself, which is has a maximum of 5 years imprisonment, a fine, or both. Now, there's a document that they published. Actually, let's share my screen. This might be an interesting one to go through. Controlling behavior. Okay, so this is the Home Office: controlling or coercive behavior in an intimate or family relationship statutory guidance. So 2015 this law came in, and we won't go through all of it, but as part of the Serious Crime Act of 2015, they made it the new offence closes the gap on law around patterns of controlling or coercive behavior between intimate partners or family members, 5 years imprisonment, as I just said. And it actually says it really, really defines what coercive control is. So here, controlling coercive behavior does not blah, 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 is a purposeful pattern of behavior which takes place over time in order for one individual to exert power, control, or coercion over another. It focuses responsibility and accountability on the perpetrator who's chosen to carry out, and it really clearly defines controlling behavior is a range of acts designed to make a person subordinate and or dependent by isolating them from sources of support, exploiting their resources and capacities for personal gain, depriving them of the means needed for independence, resistance, and escape, and regulating their everyday behavior. Coercive behavior is a continuing act or a pattern of acts of assaults, threats, humiliation, and intimidation or other abuse that is used to harm, punish, or frighten their victim. And it goes into types of behavior. It gives you some examples, right? Behaviors include isolating a person, monitoring their time, taking control over aspects of their everyday life, such as where they can go, who they can see, what they can wear, and where they can sleep. Repeatedly putting them down, telling them they're worthless, forcing a victim to take part in criminal activity, financial abuse, including control of finances, such as only allowing a person a punitive allowance, threats in various instances, preventing a person from having access to transport and or working. So this is one of the key differences that has happened in the UK here, is that we now have a law that very clearly outlines and defines what coercive control is and what it looks like. And it very clearly defines these symptoms or types of behavior that can indicate controlling and coercive behavior. Now, this hasn't in the courts been linked to any sort of cults or coercive groups like Scientology yet. But that doesn't mean it won't happen. And I think it's only a matter of time, because if you use those definitions and those descriptions, if there was a case to be brought up against a former Sea Org member or something like the Jane Does relating to the question that was just asked, this is the law here that would be used. So irrespective of what the Jane Does would be irrespective of their allegations, the perpetrator can be done for coercive control, even if it's found out that what actually happened didn't happen and they're found innocent. Actually, this coercive control piece is something that they could be found guilty of, irrespective of the actual crimes they're on trial for come true. So in the UK, I think it's a new policy. 2015 it came in. It's been applied a handful of times in a relationship scenario, family scenario, domestic abuse type thing, but it hasn't been applied to cults and coercive groups, and it's only a matter of time before it does. So I think the framework is there. It's just a matter of when that it comes out in a form that can be used in respect to coercive groups and cults and religion and that sort of thing. So that's a really long-winded way of answering your question, which was, are there laws in the UK that could have protected the Jane Does? So I think in a sense, yes, now. But maybe not so much when it actually happened, and they haven't been tested in court yet. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. But great question. Thank you so much. Everybody's saying happy birthday. Thank you so much. Joanna, beautiful skin. Thank you. That's very nice. I'd actually have no skincare routine whatsoever, so that is nice. Hello everybody in the chat. I'm just reading Controlling Behavior is Scientology. We had Poe on the go on our payroll. He won't admit it though. I mean, I was on Scientology's payroll at one point in time. One love. Can't wait for your stream with Doug. You're both so interesting. Thank you. I agree. I love Doug. He's great. We've really connected, and we talk pretty much every day. We've really connected on so many levels, and it's great that we can do some stuff together, and I'm looking forward to sharing more. And tomorrow, Thursdays at 2, go and check it out. Aaron Hubbard asks, any info on Charlie Wackley? Great question. I mean, it comes down to what info you want to know. Charlie is someone who was my direct senior. He was my best friend in Scientology. We spent all day, every day together. And if there's one thing that upset me the most when I got kicked out, it's that he wasn't able to speak to me anymore. And he was who I considered a best friend. And that's one of the most harmful or hurtful things emotionally for me, is losing my friends the first time, and why I was so upset the second time when I joined. I have had communication with him over the years since I left. I spoke to him more recently than you might imagine. And I know that he's been promoted to DED, Deputy Executive Director of London Org. And, you know, I don't have a bad bone in my body against him, if that's the right terminology. I think he's a great guy. We got on really, really well. He is a third generation Scientologist. So he's grown up in this. It's all he knows. And, you know, I still consider him a best mate, even though we haven't spoken and even though we haven't seen each other in a long while. He is just trying to do the right thing. And I have loads of stories about him. But we have to frame that with the idea of him not knowing anything else. This is all he knows. Joel McCoyne, I have heard that non-SEALG staff do not get paid. Is that right? Well, even SEALG staff don't get paid. I mean, they do, but not much. It's not quite right, the answer to your question. So Sea Org members are people who have signed a 1 billion year contract. It's not legally binding, but it's a spiritual commitment dedicating all of your current life and all of your future lives to Scientology. It's a sign of how much you are committed to the organization. It's like becoming a monk or a nun. Irma, please speak closer to the mic. I've just turned it up a little bit. Can you hear me okay? Is that better? Sound check, guys. Can you hear me all right? I've turned my mic volume up. Please tell me if you want me to speak louder or turn the mic up a little bit more. So yes, Sea Org, you've signed your life away to Scientology and all future lives. You're really dedicated like a monk or a nun. And in return, you get a £50 a week stipend or $50 a week stipend to help with expenses, like washing stuff, clothes, and all that sort of stuff. You get your birthing and your food and all of that paid for you already. As a Class 5 staff member, you don't get all of that provided for you. You are expected to have some sort of income support, your own job outside of Scientology to fund you being on staff in an organization. So in London Org and most city level orgs, you have a day or a foundation org. You are working either Monday to Friday, 9 till 6, or you're working evenings and weekends, so 6 till 10 Monday to Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday. It's like two separate groups of staff, two organizations. So the idea, if you're on staff, is that you have a job outside of your time in Scientology to pay for your housing, your food, all of that, to fund you being on staff as a volunteer. Um, you do get paid. And actually, as a staff member, I got paid more quite often than a Sea Org member would, because you get your pay is relative to how much money the organization makes the week before. So the more money the org makes, the more money you make. There's a really complicated finance system. It's split up into units and based on your level on the organization board, like how high up you are in the organization, you get more units and therefore more money. And so basically, the higher up you are in the organization and the more money the organization makes, the more money you make. As a bookseller, I obviously was supposed to get commission off the sales of the books. That's not quite how it worked out, because we went about it in a bit of a not dodgy, but an interesting way. London like to do things a bit differently, and I'm going to do a whole video about it. But I probably I was probably among the top earners in the church, because I earned money from every sale of book that I made, every book sale that I made, as well as the weekly pay. So my weekly pay varied from £20 a week to £200 a week. It literally depended on so many factors. But a Sea Org member, doesn't matter how well you're producing or how well the org does, you get £50 flat every week. And sometimes you don't get anything, but you have everything provided for you. So yes, often Scientology staff members at local city orgs made more than the Sea Org, but you've also got to remember they have to pay for their housing, their food, all of that, which the Sea Org don't. And actually, that makes it a bit harder sometimes, because how are you supposed to pay for a family and food and rent, or your mortgage and travel and all of this, when you're actually working in Scientology all day, every day? And it makes it harder in some respects. So yeah, I think that answers your question. But it's a different setup. Scott Hebert, or Hebert, thank you so much for your super chat. That means a lot. Happy birthday. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for the happy birthday wishes. It's good to see a Canadian dollars there. So I guess you've come in from my video with Gabriel earlier, the former executive director of Vancouver Church Scientology. Glitter Flutterby, £200 a week luxury. Yeah, that's another thing to consider. I think the highest I ever got paid, I'll have to check, but I reckon the highest I got paid was probably about £200 a week, which is still less than minimum wage. So you have to remember that, yes, a Sea Org member will get £50 a week, and I earned 200 one week, but that's still less than, like, you know, £10 an hour or something, right? It's less than minimum wage. So, but you've also got to remember, you don't do it because you want to earn money. You actually have to say in your staff contract that you're doing it to progress Scientology rather than to earn money. You can earn money from it, but that can't be your purpose. Joel, I've heard that. Oh, we've just done that one. Sorry. Okay. Linda, any updates on SPTV Fest? Need to save up. Yes and no. So the updates are that John Poe and I, Poe on the Go check his channel out if you haven't already, are working behind the scenes. We are trying to get a venue sorted and booked, and then we have a solid date. Once we have the date and the venue, we will then push out more information about it, make tickets available, and so on. It is likely to be the first or the second week of October, and it will definitely be in Tampa or Clearwater, around that area. So bear with us. Once we have everything set up, we will make it more available and do a bit of a launch. But Chris Shelton has agreed to come along. You've got myself, Doug Kramer from Days But Not Confused. Clearwater Chad will be there, and others are in the process of being confirmed. So more to come on that. Victoria, how come you guys get taxed on your pay? They are tax exempt. So Scientology is not tax exempt here in the UK. Scientology applied for charity status in 1999, and they were denied. in order to be a tax-exempt charity in the UK, you have to prove public benefit. You have to prove that you are doing things to help other people in the public, not just your members. And in 1999, when they applied for tax-exempt status, charity status, they were denied because they couldn't prove that they existed for the public benefit. I did a video on it. Go check it out if you haven't already. So yeah, essentially they set up in the UK through a what's it called, a shell company or some sort of structure through a company called the Church of Scientology Religious Education College Incorporated, which is a charity in Australia that is registered over there as a charity, but they operate solely here in the UK. They have to report all of their expenses and so on to the Charity Commission. And I'm actually working on a video at the moment about those accounts, because they have to report every year not only how much money they're making, but how much money they spend and on what, and how many staff members they have. It's all clear as day, black and white pieces of paper filed with the government. So that's a whole video to come. But essentially, they here in the UK have to pay corporation tax, and it's all very questionable because if you're a company here that's not a charity, you pay corporation tax, which is, I believe, 19 or 20% of your, I think it's your profits. You pay tax, about 20% of your profits are taxed to the government as corporation tax. So it's in your interest as a company to have less profits. If you earn $1 million or £1 million in a year as revenue, but you spend £900,000 of it on research and development, on staff and costs and so on. So actually you only get £100,000 of profit. That is what is taxed at 20% as corporation tax in the UK. So if you look at the accounts in for the Church of Scientology here in the UK, they registered as a company that doesn't turn over much, if any, profit. And they paid something like £17,000 of corporation tax in the last year that they filed documents for, even though they took in £30 million in the year, because they make it seem like they are spending it because they have a bit of a dodgy setup. I'm doing a whole video on it. But if they take in £30 million and spend 29 million, then they're only taxed on that 1 million profit. So if you look at their accounts, it's very clear they're trying to make it seem like they are not turning over any profit, so they pay less tax here in the UK. In terms of me being taxed on my pay as a staff member, yeah, I mean, regardless of whether it's a charity or not that's tax exempt, as an employee of a company, you'd have to pay income tax and national insurance and that sort of thing. So, you know, regardless, even if it was a charity that was tax exempt, as an employee, you would pay tax on your income for sure. Andrew Humphrey, have a belated birthday, Birmi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that super chat. And another Canadian in the chat. It's really great to see you guys coming out of the woodworks and joining my channel. So thank you. Cheers. Appreciate that. Poe on the go. Was it possible to make a livable income? Absolutely not, is the short answer. I mean, it's just not possible, because even on a good week, if we were to sell Dianetics for 12 or 13 pounds, even if we did it in the way that I did and earned £6 or something per book sale, there's no way I'm going to be earning enough money to pay my rent. The whole point of being on staff is that it's called a moonlight. You have to have a job outside of Scientology to fund your time in Scientology. So no, it's not possible to have a livable income. But that's the idea, because the whole thing is you're only working evenings and weekends, or you're only working Monday to Friday. So in your spare time, you're supposed to then have your own business or do your own job that's meant to then fund you to be able to do that. So thanks, Pondigo. Goldie. Thank you for the super chat, Goldie. I really appreciate that. Goldie is awesome. And everyone needs to give Goldie some respect and some love. Goldie is awesome. We love Goldie. Thank you so much. Paul on the go again. Happy birthday, my friend. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to Paul on the go. I did a live stream with him on Sunday with Doug, and I'm sure there are many more to come with the Four Horsemen. Paul on the Go is awesome. So thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Juliana Files Aniversario. Happy birthday. Thank you. I do not speak Spanish or Portuguese, whichever that is. So I hope you can forgive me for my bad pronunciation. I did French in school. I did German. I did Latin. I did Chinese, and obviously English. Spanish and Portuguese are not ones that I ever did, so I can't do that. But I can definitely speak a bit of French, speak a bit of German, speak a bit of a tiny amount of Chinese, and Latin is actually the only subject I failed at school. But yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Maggie May. Hi, Alex. Another crazy Canadian in the chat, my friend. I love it. I appreciate that. Welcome to the chat. And you know what? This is one of the things that Gabrielle and I were talking about the other day, is that the people don't realize in Canada just how big Scientology is. And it's the same here in the UK. I get comments quite regularly going, I didn't realize Scientology was a thing here in the UK. And it's so true. It is. There are only 2,000 or 3,000 Scientologists in the UK. It's not huge. But it is very much here, and it is very much a thing that we have to be aware of. Scientology used to run itself from here in the UK, and it's the same in Canada. I don't think a lot of people realize that it is so prevalent. So I'm glad telling Gabriel's story has helped make people realize that it's not just something in the US, it is something that happens everywhere, worldwide. Ava Joy Porter, thank you for the super chat. She says, thank you, Alex. Thank you for the great content and all you do to help. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's exactly why I'm doing this. You know, my goal isn't to attack the church or take the church down or expose it or anything like this. There are channels that do that and do that very, very well. My job is just to share stories, share experiences, and raise awareness. And that's what I'm doing. And I think the fact that Gabrielle shared her story is an indicator of that, and I'm really excited to see the content she's got coming in the next week or two. I know she's got a couple of interviews lined up with some really exciting people that you guys will be particularly interested in. So it's great. Welcome her to the SPTV crew. If you haven't already, go check out Escaping the Cultiverse. Is the name of her channel. Go and check her out. And if you haven't watched part 1 of the video, go and do that. I'm really proud of that interview. Yeah. L. Ron Hubbard. Do you think there is a case that DM is a victim of the cult itself, being that his father admitted it was his fault he brought his family in? R.I.P. Ron. Really, really good question. Drink time. I never met David Miscavige. I don't have any personal experience. So my whole understanding of his mindset and what I think about him and his beliefs is based purely on stories I've heard other people say. So I have no real first-hand experience of this. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt. But my belief, based on what I've witnessed and what I've heard, is that David Miscavige was brought up in Scientology to some extent. He's been doing it for a very long time, and he fully believes that Scientology is the way to help save humanity. I believe that he is so ruthless and so determined in getting Scientology to expand and grow and getting more people in because he genuinely believes it. I think there's an element of whether people ask if he's a narcissist, if he knows what he's doing, and so on, and that's a whole nother topic. But I do think that he believes it, and that's why he is so determined and ruthless. I don't think he sat there thinking, how do I manipulate these people? And ha ha ha, how funny is this that all these guys believe in this? I think he believes in it too. And I think he's just surrounded himself with people that say yes to him. So he's in an echo chamber of people that only agree with him, because if you don't agree with him, then he can just banish you or, he surrounds himself with people that say yes to him, and that puts you in an echo chamber where it just strengthens and furthers your own beliefs. So it's a different question as to whether or not he's a nasty person or a narcissist or whatever. That's a whole different topic, and I couldn't possibly comment because I don't know him. I'm not an expert or anything, but based on stories I've heard, I do think that he believes in Scientology, and that's why he is so determined. So let's have a little look. You think nothing can get worse than Latin. You do ancient Greek. Oof, yeah. Honestly, Latin, I did enjoy it, but I wasn't very good at all. I did so in the UK, there's thing called GCSEs. In the US, there's a GED. When you leave school. In the UK, there's the GCSEs, the General Certificate of Secondary Education, and you get a GCSE. You get one in each subject that you do. So most people do 10 or 11 GCSEs, like English, maths, science, geography, history, whatever. I actually did 17 GCSEs. I was quite a committed student, I would say, and I did my exams a year early and therefore did more subjects, and left school with 15 A star to B grades. And I got 1 D and 1 F, and the F was in Latin. I didn't get on with Latin, but it's not a subject that was taught at my school. They actually trained someone to teach it, to deliver it to me, because I'd finished all my studies and they couldn't just have me sitting around doing nothing. So yeah, I used to love languages. Languages were among my favorite things to study at school. 17, of course. Yeah, like I said, most people do 10 or 11. I did 17. I did 3 English GCSEs. There was meant to be English literature, English language, and then they did this pilot one, which was like additional English studies. I did maths, I did statistics, geography, history. What else? Theatre studies, business studies, IT. I did physics, biology, chemistry, French. I didn't do GCSE in German, but I should have done. I did Latin, obviously. Yeah, I did the whole array of them all. Thank you so much for your birthday wishes, Sherry. Appreciate that. Abby Franklin, did you feel you were better with languages thanks to study tech? No. So I came across Scientology in my last year of school. So I didn't apply study tech until I was doing my A levels between 16 and 18. So I'd finished my studies, and was then doing an additional 2 years before going to college. So no, I absolutely didn't. And also, if you look at Greenfield School, which is a Scientology school here in the UK where they apply study tech, they they actually have a below average grade. Applying study tech as per the results of the school that applies it does not result in a greater understanding of the subject. So yeah, I did want to go to Greenfields. I remember because in the UK it's changed now, but you used to finish school at 16, and then you could go and get a job if you wanted to, or you could do an additional 2 years of A levels, which are advanced levels, which you do 3 or 4 subjects for 2 years, and then you go to university at the age of 18. But it used to be optional. It's not optional now. But yeah, so I was, instead of going to my 6th form, I was wanting to go to Greenfields to do those 2 years of study, and I ended up not going because it's a private school that charges a lot of money. But yeah, good thing I didn't. I ended up, they wanted me essentially to carry on staff instead of going to university. So that was a conversation that I had. Linda, have you thought of teaching, Alex? You would probably be good at it. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And I also hope that I'm teaching you guys in these videos. Like, that's kind of what I plan to do. I like to share my stories in the goal of teaching everyone about not just what goes on in Scientology, but how it makes you think and how it makes you feel and why certain things happen. Because you don't sign your life away. You don't sign your seal contract committing your life and all future lives to Scientology unless you genuinely believe that this is the way to save the planet. And so what I find really interesting is that journey from like someone that comes into Scientology to someone that signs their life away to it. That's a whole change in your mind. And that's what I like exploring. I find that really interesting to think about how does it get someone from walking into the church doing a personality test to committing their life to it. I think that's what interests me, and that's what I hope to try and educate people with, on how the mindset is of someone in Scientology. Karen, happy birthday. Love how you explain things. I love watching this video. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I try and do. Solo to Dear Assist. Great name. Alex, happy birthday. Sorry if you've already covered this, but any more details on SPTV Fest? Yes, so it's coming soon. I did mention this earlier. I'll repeat it now. October 1st or 2nd weekend, we are currently working on a venue, and once we have that booked, we will put a ticket link up and we will announce it properly. The reason we haven't published too much about it is because we want to get it set in stone first before we're ready to announce it live. LJ Vespertil, thank you for the super chat. Happy birthday, Alex. I hope you're having a great day. Read Latin. I visited Rome for a few years back and was surprised to see SPQR everywhere. Manhole covers, gates, fountains, and more. I don't know what SPQR means. Please enlighten me in the comments. But awesome. Yeah, I've been to Rome. I love Rome. I went there many years ago, and I remember it being really hot. I had a great time. I do love Italy. Italy's a lovely place in the world. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the super chat. Abby Franklin, for a birthday pint or coffee or whatever floats your boat. Thank you, Abby. I appreciate that, and thank you for supporting the channel. It's awesome. I mean, honestly, the encouragement and support that you guys have shown me it blows me away every single day. So I do really appreciate it, and thank you so much. The community is so creative. Karma charms kittens. That is so true. This is the thing. In Scientology, they paint this picture that the outside world is horrible and scary, and SPs just want you to, not succeed in life. But actually, it's the opposite. The more I speak out and the more I share my stories, the more I speak to you guys, the more I realize that everyone's really nice and trying to help each other, which is really lovely. So thank you, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to start wrapping things up here because I have been on for almost an hour. Jeez, I thought I was going to be on for much shorter. If you want to ask me any questions, put them in the chat now. This is your last chance before I start wrapping up. I do, again, want to just bring up the video that I published today. I want to know what you guys think. Please do go check it out. Part 1, Breaking Free, the Untold Canadian Story of Scientology. Gabrielle Toth was the former executive director of the Church of Scientology Vancouver. She's never spoken out. And so the first video was, I think, a big moment for her and a big moment for me. And I feel privileged that she asked me to share her story for the first time. So part 1 is out now. Part 2 will come out very soon. And it is very much a moment in the history of my channel. So go and check her out. Escaping the Cultiverse A is the name of her channel. Go and give her some love and welcome her to SBTV. Reese W, you're so enjoyable, Alex. Really great content. Thank you. That's so nice of you. I really appreciate that. I think, look, there's a delicate balance, isn't there? Because talking about Scientology and coercive control and groups and like cults and all this sort of stuff, like it's a really hard, serious, not very nice topic to talk about. And it's about finding that balance of like humor and enjoyability and education and enjoyment. And I think it's really, important to find that balance. Laurie H, do you plan to write a book? That is a question. Yes. I don't really know what I can say and what I should say. There are plans in the works to do more stuff outside of just my YouTube. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to go for this. So, yes, basically, I am working on something. Whether it ends up being an actual book or not, I don't know. We shall see. But I did start writing something. as I said, it's not a plan, so I don't know whether it actually will. I haven't got a book deal or anything like that, but I used to work as a journalist. I used to work in fashion. I like writing. I'm good at writing, and I did suddenly start thinking a couple of weeks ago I should start writing this down. And I have worked on something. So here we go. This can be something as a little exclusive to this live stream. Um, as I said, I don't know whether it will be a book or a series of articles or what. I don't know the form in which it's going to present itself. But yes, I've started writing something, and I will give you a sneak peek teaser right now. So here it goes. This is my birthday gift to you guys, is a little sneak peek of another project that I've been working on behind the scenes. If I was to write a book, or in whatever form it ends up being, this is the first 2 paragraphs. This is how it's going to start. I'll share my screen. I'll read it out at the same time. You can't leave the room until you've written down everything you've done wrong. Have you ever masturbated? I was asked. Write down every instance you've done this in as much detail as you can. When, where, why, how many times? Did you watch porn? What type? How long for? These were my last few moments in Scientology, and the last time I'd set foot in a church as a Scientologist in good standing. At the age of 19, I was declared a potential trouble source and dismissed from my post as Director of Public Book Sales at the Church of Scientology in London. Escorted to my desk and then the door, I was heartbroken. Everything I believed in and everything I'd spent countless hours with, everybody I'd spent countless hours with day in, day out over the preceding months, gone. I was as dedicated as they come, ready to clear the planet and spend my life making the world a better place. And now, as I head to the door one final time, I can't help but think, this just isn't right. So that's the first time I've shared that publicly. As I said, I don't know whether I'm going to be writing a book or not, but I have started writing down my experiences and my stories, and whether that becomes a book or an extended article on a blog or something, I don't know, but that's where we're going, and that's a little sneak peek for you guys. Catherine Olsen, happy birthday. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine's awesome, guys. I get so many comments from you guys saying, when's Catherine next coming on? She's awesome. I hope you liked our video last Thursday me and Doug did with Catherine about the tone scale. It was fascinating. And Catherine, thank you. You are welcome to join my channel anytime you like. People seem to really love you, and I love your content and what you've got to say as well. So please do come on my channel whenever you want. Juliana, fantastic opening. Thank you. I appreciate that. From a poet, keep on writing. Do that, some good prose. Thank you. I appreciate that. As I said, I like writing, and I don't know what that's going to turn into, but I thought, look, I'll just get started and start writing, and see where we end up. Andrew Humphrey, I'll buy your book for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll keep going. As I said, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I won't show my screen, but I'll read you the next bit. I started off just like talking about my life, so I'll read you a bit more. I'm not going to show my screen, but I carry on with this. I wasn't born or raised in Scientology. In fact, my parents are far from religious, sending me to a Christian school only because it was local and had the best results in my area. But from my earliest memory, I've been a hard worker with an inquisitive mind. As a child, adults would complain I ask why too much, and family friends encouraged a go-getter mindset. You'll be Prime Minister one day, they would say. Perhaps my ambition came from this can-do attitude, or maybe it's an inflated ego, being told by everyone I met that I'd be good at anything I put my mind to. At school, I excelled in both academic subjects and the arts. I sat exams a year early and left school with 17 GCSEs. For context, the average is 9, 15 of which were A-star to B grades. However, I always had a sense that there was more to life, something bigger than me, than us. I was raised in rural Essex, initially living in Brentwood, a town about an hour outside of London, before moving at the age of 7 to a small village where the nearest supermarket was a 20-minute drive away. If you ran out of milk after the local convenience store closed at 5 p.m., it was down to your neighbours to lend you some for your cup of tea or breakfast in the morning. I remember moving schools, adapting to my new life in the middle of nowhere, and getting my first taste of the British countryside. We would play in the local recreation ground, building dens in the woods and climbing hay barrels, hanging out in the sun without a care in the world. With no grown ups around, we were invincible, on top of the world and free to explore to our heart's content. With so few people living nearby, it was safe and carefree. I loved it there. And that's all I'm going to share for now, because it's a process. I don't know where I'm going with it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I thought, let's just write down my story, my life, how I got into Scientology, and what I did in Scientology, and what happened. So that is the start of it, and we'll see where it goes. SD Cat Lover, thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Thank you. Alrighty, Juliana, I feel like I'm listening to the audiobook already, even if it doesn't become a book. Thanks for sharing a bit of stuff. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for listening. Also, just out of interest for you guys, you might be interested to know, I have been officially, what's the word? I'm now officially, it's been announced, I don't know, as a co-host of the That's So Fucked Up podcast. Every month, I'm going to be getting together with Ashley, the host of the That's So Fucked Up podcast, and we're going to be doing a series on Scientology. She's a really great person. She's got a podcast. She's not really on YouTube, so go and check it out. That's So Fucked Up podcast, and she's dissecting religions and groups and psychopaths and murderers and all these sorts of things, and kind of like trying to bring a bit of light-hearted, not necessarily comedy, but kind of taking a fresh look at things and just kind of drawing conclusions of how messed up some certain things are. And she did one on Mormonism, she did one on like certain serial killers and so on. And yeah, we're going to be doing one on Scientology. So once a month, I'll be a co-host on the That's So Fucked Up podcast, talking about Scientology and dissecting the bridge to total freedom and just drawing conclusions on like how fucked up some of it is, in a kind of light-hearted, you got to find things to laugh at and how wild it is when you look back on it. So yeah, that's going to be happening very soon. We are recording our first episode this Sunday. I don't know when it's going to be released, probably sometime after that, but we will be video recording the interview. I'm going to release the interview, or the episode, if you like, on my channel as a video thing for you guys, and she'll be releasing the episode as an audio recording on her podcast. So that's a really exciting thing that's happened. There's also about 3 other things I'm working on behind the scenes that I can't tell you about, but I can't wait. So yeah, it's very much happening behind the scenes. So yeah, thank you to everyone for all of your support. Tina, you have an amazing reading voice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do try. I try my best. I love the British speak. It sounds lovely. Thank you. I want the audiobook with you reading it. Well, look, if it does end up being a book, then yeah, I'll absolutely record an audiobook. As I said, I don't know if it will end up being an audiobook or an article or an actual book. I don't know. I'm just going to write, yeah, and see where it goes. So yeah, we shall see. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping up. So thank you so much, everybody, for jumping in on the live chat. A little bit of info just before I wrap up. Tomorrow, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK, I will be live with Doug Kramer. We're going to be talking about the recovery process and what it's like being a Scientologist and how it affects us today. Go check that out tomorrow. I will also be interviewing someone tomorrow, recorded, and that will be coming out in the next few days. Part 2 of the interview with Gabriel Toth, the former executive director of the Church of Scientology Vancouver. That's going to be coming out in the next few days as well. And go and check her channel out. Escaping the Cultiverse A is the name of her channel. Go check it out. Give her a subscribe. Welcome her to SPTV. We're going to be doing a few videos together, and hopefully we can get her on some other channels as well. So yeah, thank you everybody. And also just a little note to say, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I know I go on about it all the time, but it does help push the video out to more people, helps the channel grow. So I really appreciate that. You can buy me a coffee with the link in the description if you want to support financially. Thank you. I'd appreciate that. But everything else that you guys do is the biggest impact, sharing, subscribing, all of that stuff. Engagement is the key. So thank you so much, guys. And thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. And I will see you guys very, very soon.